AHC Diagnostics. Alright, we're going to start off with Brian's N1, and we're going to go through an AHC Diagnostics routine. So, here we go. Alright, 3 buttons you're worried about on the control panel. You're worried about the cold, the hot, and the ambient. So in order to start diagnostics, you have to hold, bear with me, you have to hold the off button down and turn the key on at the same time. So give me a second. Holding the off button down when you turn the key on, about 10 seconds later, you're going to get this flash screen. You're basically looking to make sure that everything is lit up and working. That's step 1. Hot button gets pressed once. We have a flashing 23. Basically, it's telling you it's a water temperature sensor. Normally, in a cold position, we have not started the car. This would register as a 20 if there was nothing wrong. So we'll check that out later. So this is a sensor check. The blinking means that there is a problem with it. If it's a steady 20, there is nothing wrong with your sensors in the system. Hit the back button to make sure that both buttons are operational. So we're back to the first screen, going through the sensor check. Normally, if you guys are doing this in the garage, this is going to flash at 25. That means that the sunlight sensor that's up here in the corner of the dash is not receiving a UV signal, and it's not a big deal. It usually goes away when you bring it to outside. Next step, press the hot button. You're going to get a 3. You're going to hear some motion as the motors go through their diagnostics. This is not complete until you see a 30, just like that. If you leave it in this step, it will continue to go through this and continually check that system. Anytime you have a 30, all of your air door motors are operating correctly. If you get one that's flashing, you need to check the factory service manual and determine that you have a which issue you have, which door motor it is. Next step, this is a fan control. So each one of these modes, 41, 42, 43, all the way to 47, these change the modes in your system. In the factory service manual, it describes how each mode activates and what should be activated. So this is where the ambient button comes in. It changes your modes. You'll hear the air door motors move. You'll know that the air is moving in different directions. As you hear there in 43, everything kicked up real high. 44, and you should hear or feel air being diverted from the different vents. The door motors will move, and it'll direct it to the floor, it'll direct it to defrost, or it'll direct it directly at you. This does not tell you anything that's wrong. All this tells you is that the modes are moving according to the doors. Hitting ambient again takes you back to 41. So each time you want to check a mode, you have to push the ambient button. Next step. This is step 5. This is where everybody gets confused. Step 5 is going to show you the sensor readings. One being your air vent, located right here. One being down inside the evaporator core, it's the suction temperature. One is located out front on the front of the fan. That's your exterior ambient temp sensor. And the fourth one is inside of the evaporator as well. So you have to hit the ambient temp button in order to get those readings. First press is for the... I'd have to look it up. It's in the factory service manual. But each one of these, as long as they show a positive reading, that means you're getting a good sensor reading. I'm going to attempt to show you a bad one. So just behind here, there's a tube. This is normally not on if somebody's changed the stereo or you're getting a negative reading for it. And you have the plug-in right here. Unplugging this will cause a negative sensor reading. Now as you watch, as I plug this back in, this is fun one-handed. That sensor reads again. Okay, so when you have a negative reading, it's telling you that a sensor is not good, it's having a problem, or in this case, some of the times when you do it, that tube wasn't reconnected when the stereo surround was put back on. If you have any questions for this, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we will do our best to answer anything that's there. All of this is in the factory service manual, and it does give you a step-by-step troubleshooting guide to say if something doesn't work, or something is not reading correctly, or what those certain sensors are reading. It's all in there. Yes or no, as you go through. Thanks, guys. Hope everything works out. Hope, like I said, if you have any questions, just put it down in the bottom. And I'll do a quick walk around to the car so you guys can see Bobby's beautiful N1. All right, guys, that's all we got. Have a great day.